Hey everybody, I am John Garcia.
And I'm Steve Edwards.
And we are Weeding
Through the BS.
Welcome everybody to what is officially the first episode of the Weeding Through the BS podcast. Today is Tuesday, March 7th. And we wanted to kick this off by basically telling you a little bit about the podcast, about ourselves, and what we plan to accomplish here. So it will be a hard-hitting 20 to 30-minute podcast, and we want to talk to people that have had amazing success personally and professionally. And really, we want to get down, peel some of those layers of the onion and really get down to not just a challenge, not just a struggle, but really the BS, right? What was it that you had to, that aha moment that you had to break through, something that you thought at first was a truth, right? It was like you really thought you were going to have to deal with this. And then in the end, you look back and it really wasn't. You reveal the BS. Yeah, you reveal the BS for what it was. So that's the thing. We all hear these great stories. We all hear these great episodes. But do you really know what the BS is about? And that's what we're going to challenge our guests to do on this show.
Yeah, it kind of came, John, right? This idea, kind of from my story. Right? And where we are at. So, when I created a startup 4 years ago, and I went through a lot of challenges. And, here we are 4 years later, successful, top place to work in South Florida, got a great team behind us. We've done a lot of things in the virtual world, from, worldwide job fairs to the largest ever job fair was on our platform, which was cool. But there was a lot of doubters. And, I speak at a lot of these conferences, and it's a lot of the positive things that are coming out and it's out there. But you know what? I went through a lot of challenges and a lot of failures. And I listen to a lot of people and I really focus on my mindset and always being positive. But there's a lot of people that are creating these startups and they fail and they don't know where to go. So, we're writing a book called Weeding Through the BS, the challenges of a tech startup. But then it kind of came into the podcast and how many of these other people out there have done the same thing.
Yeah. So Steve's being a little bit modest, but he had this idea for Weeding Through the BS, the book, and it's really one topic, right? The launch. I mean, there's a lot of things weaved into it, but as he says, as we were walking through it, we know so many people with so many great stories, and we're like, we really want to share them. We want to bring them to the show. We want to invite them to the studio and let them share their story, because we can apply this concept, Weeding Through the BS, to almost any area of life, almost any business. There's going to be some layers of BS that you have to go through.
John, you started a board game.
Yes.
On Kickstarter.
Kickstarter, for those who don't know, is a crowdfunding website. And it was 10 years ago made for the small guy, the guy who was going to launch a game. Now it's literally a multi-million-dollar business. And you see large established companies on that platform basically taking all the money from small guys. So there's a lot of BS going on there, and we'll talk more about it. But we kind of jumped a little bit ahead. We definitely want to start off by thanking some special people that have, really helped us with this journey. Premier Virtual is the main sponsor. Premier Virtual is our the founding company. So we want to start there.
Yeah. Thank my partner, Gary Chambers here at Premier Virtual, who believed in, where we're at. Everybody here, the family at Premier Virtual, we have such a great culture here, and they stand by us, right? And we really, build a culture so we can take care of our clients. And I think that's one of the number one things is taking care of your clients, but your people got to love coming to work on a daily basis, and our title sponsor, leadershipbooks.com, thank you for backing the book and now backing the podcast as well. So Leadership Books is our title sponsor. Also Owl and Jason Hill for, sponsoring us as well. I can't wait to have you on and hear your story. I mean, I know it, but I think, developing an app and everything that you went through. Yeah, so, Jesus. Thank you to that. Ray Bryan, his team over at Think Big Websites, another sponsor of ours. So, thank you for everything you do, Ray. And really, my mentor teams. And we're going to get into that, right? That's a huge portion of the book is mentor teams and everything. But, from the venture mentoring team to Tech Runway to 1909 to Veterans Florida, and Veterans Florida at FAU, thank you to all that you guys did that kind of got us to where we're at today. So, we're going to talk a lot. We're going to have some fun. Really what this is about is to get down to the shit that I don't want you to go through, right? Like I got 2 young kids, a 5-year-old and an 8-year-old. And so many people say, well, you got to let them make mistakes. You're right. But if this podcast can help one person not have to go through a challenge that I went through, or they can say, hey, I'm starting to go down this path, and here's what he did to get out of that path. I did my job. My job now is to mentor and help other people.
Yeah. You hear it all the time. If I could do it all over again, I wouldn't change a thing. That is BS. For me, I'll start right there. That's the biggest BS I ever heard. People say that because you don't want to resent, and I get that, and you don't want to be like second guessing yourself. But there is no way at my age now that I would do everything the same way that I did it, to get here. Why? What's the point? Why do you want to go through mistakes and failures and repeat them, right? You don't. You want to help. Why do we help our children? Why do we coach them? Why do we have coaches? Because they went through it. They made it through, but yes, they found that there's better ways to do it. And that's what this is about. That's it.
Yeah, and everything comes in. I always say, what I did in my past is what made me who I am today.
Absolutely. Yes.
And you went through those challenges, but there's a lot of times that you got to take advice.
Yes.
And what you put in is what you get out, right? Like in my men's group at church last night, I said, we're talking about stuff. And I'm like, what you put in your mind, right? Good in, good out. Garbage in, garbage out.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
And even like with partnerships and, where people are different and they help each other. Because I always say, if you wait till you're ready, you'll be waiting your whole life. But there's something to the person that plans. There's something for the person that also lets you kind of, put your radar up, if you will, and take some cautious steps. Sometimes you can't just always go, balls to the wall all the time. You're gonna. Yes, it makes you who you are. But now that I am who I am, my experience, my wisdom, my shit is worth something because I can help someone else not do and maybe get to this point 10 years earlier, right? Or get to wherever their goal is that much faster. So that's cool.
We live in a society of, right, Google, I want something like this, right? And it's not instant success, right? Like you think, I graduate college, I get out to here that I'm instantly going to go into the job market and I'm going to have instant success. No, you got to work at it, right? But if you can get that little bit of help to be better, that's what we want to do here.
Yeah, and in fact, you bring up a good point. It's not necessarily about easier, and not necessarily. Sometimes it's, hey, listen, you really do need to take the 10 steps to get to this, not this 1 or 2 that you want to get there. So it's not we're trying to make it that there's always an easier path. Sometimes you have to understand there is a longer path. There is a tougher struggle you have to go through for certain things.
Yeah, and that's really kind of talking about some of our upcoming guests of what they have.
Yeah, let's do that.
It's Jason Hill, successful financial advisor, runs the Shrimp Tank podcast, decided to start an app, right? Created an app called Owl.
He interviewed so many entrepreneurs. I think he just got the bug.
He just got the bug, right? He's like, hey, I want to be able to talk to more experts, right? And he'll come in and tell his story, but it's phenomenal to hear kind of how he cited, Shana over at 1909, right?
Yeah.
I went through one of her mentor classes.
That's awesome. Yeah.
That it was there. And she is all about cultivating the startup culture and what she's building at 1909 is phenomenal. And Nikki over at South Florida Tech Hub, I mean, I talked to her the other day and, we talked about, right, she's the CEO of Tech Hub, but also the CEO of the household, right? A mom. And to me, like I say, my wife is the CEO of the household and that's the most important job out there. But to be able to see, right, what she's done, we got Javi coming in. Javi is a baseball coach and a personal trainer, right? So it's not just all about the business side of it. It's what people are doing in their lives and different things. I don't want to have the same type of guests on that everybody has out there, and it's the same thing over and over and over. We want to have different guests, coming in, Dr. Kevin Cox is in, he's a professor, but he's also a mentor and runs the Florida Veterans mentoring team. And there, he's at Tech Runway. It's just amazing what he does to help startups out there. Bianca from Workforce Development, she does things just a little bit different and so successful. Jordan has been with multiple startups, and his story of what he's done is just phenomenal. Ashley, between nonprofits and her startups, just a great story there. We got Cindy that's from PR, right? She's phenomenal. Superstar. We got Matt, a retired sergeant major, used to be one of the top ranked sergeant majors in the Army. So it's exciting to hear his story and just talking about leadership, mentoring and coaching and kind of the difference, right? My story, my call with him last week is just like, here's the difference between coaching and mentoring. So to really hear that, it was powerful. Yeah. Right. So, Lynette comes from the recruiting world, and then we got, a major recruiting firm and right. Building a team. How important is building a team, everything that's out there, then Corey, Kelly, and David. I mean, Kelly Merbler, if you've ever followed her, what she did walking away from corporate America, I've never seen somebody brand themselves so good. Amazing person. Awesome. Corey from the media world and David runs a software development firm. Like amazing all around. If you see just the kind of people who are come in, listen to their stories and really see the BS that they went to and what they got to where they're at and why they're successful today and the lessons they learned from those failures.
Yeah, just one little nugget from each one of those people is going to make this a very valuable podcast. And I can't wait to hear it. Sure, we're the hosts and we're presenting it, but I just can't wait to hear all of those, stories and amazing people, successful at every level. And they've all, if when you peel it away, they're going to have the challenges and struggles that, that we all do. But how did they get through it? That's how.
You gotta, a lot of them, I know some of their stories, right? As I've talked with them and kind of, interviewed them. Some of them I've known for a while, but it's their story and right from the personal side of it to the business side of it. It's just like, it's just powerful. Yeah. Right?
So we're looking forward to it. We wanted to do this as an episode, I guess a prequel or episode 01, because we'll be interviewing our first guest later today, again on March 7th. We are based in South Florida, so a lot of the guests are in the area, but we are doing virtual interviews as well. So if you do want to be a guest on the podcast, you go to weedingthroughthebs.com. You could sign up there. Obviously, you could reach out to Steve or I here. And on any of the social media networks as well. So we're going to end with this. We're going to end by celebrating this launch, if you will, with a nice little bottle of champagne, because how else do you celebrate, right?
Yeah, we want people to come on here and tell your story.
And have a good
time, just like, not, I got a little button.
I believe the word for that you're searching for is bullshit.
is we want to be able to get to it, and maybe you're gonna have a question that says tell me a truth, right? That old thing, tell me one truth, tell me one BS, and then we got to call it out, right? And John and I are gonna kind of see here, whoops, I'm showing into the microphone. John and I here are gonna call out, right? And we're gonna see who is the biggest BS detector. So again, if you want to be a guest on our show and tell your story, we don't care where you're at, right? It can be virtual. If you're down here in South Florida, you can come into the studio. So we look forward to that.
Cheers.
Here we go to the first episode.
Hope you join us.
Weeding Through the BS. Looking forward to hearing your story.